Alright, welcome back to another episode of Common Cooking. Today we're going to be making chia seed pudding, chocolate chia seed pudding. This recipe is super delicious. This is from my good friend Megan. She made this when I went to her house the one time, and I loved it. And I make it all the time. I have it probably at least like 3 days a week. And it's super healthy. Chia seeds actually are kind of considered like a superfood just because they're chock full of good nutrients, and they also have like tons of fiber, which is great. Some of the good fats for you and stuff. You'll notice when you're buying it, there's white chia seeds and black chia seeds. They're actually both the same. They're just two different gene expressions, but they're from the exact same plant. So just get whatever. I like white because I like the look of white better in pudding, but that's really by the by. So yeah, what you need is a ripe banana. What you do with that is you just puree it. Your banana can be a little overripe too, to be honest, like kind of past that point where you would eat it, like when the skin kind of starts to get black and not just spotted. Because when it gets a little extra ripe, it gets sweeter and easier to puree, and it's perfectly fine. So you smash this up. What we do when we do this too is we make the pudding, and you don't have to worry about mixing things in too well at first, because after we put all the ingredients in and get all the chia seeds kind of wet with the milk that we add, we'll put it in the fridge for half an hour, which then lets the seeds start to absorb the liquid. And then after that half an hour, everything mixes together really smoothly, because it's actually really difficult to mix cocoa powder into the milk and everything here. When I was first doing this, I tried really hard to mix everything in right at first, but you can basically let everything sit on top more or less, as long as the chia seeds get wet, and then it stirs in perfectly after a half hour. Alright, so just pureed the banana there, cup of milk. I always just kind of scrape the banana off the bottom of the container there. The amount I'm making here, I consider one serving. I just eat all this at one go. It's pretty great. Now this is optional. I put in some flax powder because it's also just like really healthy for you. And I also find, given the proportions in this recipe, it also thickens it a little bit. And I like the pudding to be, it doesn't get like super thick, but I like it to be a little thicker than without it. This just serves to absorb some more milk. So let's do about a tablespoon of that. Tablespoon of cocoa powder. Now this stuff's actually really fun because I can see the tablespoon there. When you add the maple syrup in, hopefully I have enough for a tablespoon in there. When you add the maple syrup in, it actually sits on top of the powder, which kind of demonstrates how the cocoa powder doesn't mix too in with the milk, because when you dump it, it's like almost dry there. You can see it's this layer of cocoa powder still. And the faster you do that, the less maple syrup will be left over in the tablespoon, which is pretty fun, because it just falls out like it's not even a liquid, like it's a solid. And then, so it's tablespoon of flax, tablespoons of cocoa powder, tablespoon of maple syrup. You can use any syrup for that. Simple syrup works fine. Simple syrup, to make that, you just put some warm to hot water and sugar in a bowl and mix it up until it's dissolved. 50% water, 50% white sugar. Might do a video on how to make that actually. It's pretty useful for cocktails and stuff. And then a quarter cup of chia seeds. As I said, you don't have to get too crazy with mixing it in here, because you'll see what it looks like after sitting for half an hour. It'll really thicken up already and absorb a lot of the liquid, which makes stirring everything in a lot simpler. But the main thing is you want to not have the chia seeds sitting on top. You want to have them definitely get wetted with the milk. Just a light little stir there. It's already thick, so it doesn't really splash too easily. Be super careful. should do it. See there, I don't want to spill out, but you can also see here, you can see how there is the layer of chocolate and everything on top, but you can see how there's chia seeds and things mixed into the milk there as well. And that's it. We'll put that in the fridge for half an hour and check back then. Alrighty, so it's been 30 minutes in the fridge. Something I forgot to say too is if you don't have syrups too, you can add sugar and just take your time, dissolve it in the milk. Whatever, table syrup will work. I've got some apple syrup, but I definitely prefer maple syrup. But so after half hour in the fridge, that's what that looks like there. You can see it's kind of got a crust on top. You see it just breaks that crust there. And then you just want to stir that in. So not stirs in really easily. All that chocolatey goodness. Want to get everything off the sides too. Something as well. It's kind of hard to see, but if you look on the bottom there, you'll see where it's not been stirred totally in because it'll be whiter than the rest from the milk and the banana. So you can kind of look around the sides and really work that cocoa powder in and everything very evenly through the pudding. And that's it, just like that. Now you want to put this back in the fridge for at least 3 hours. What I often do is I will make 2 of these at a time, put them both in. I'll have one the next day and then one the day after. So they do last in the fridge fine. Leaving it an extra day does not hurt it in the slightest bit. But you want at least 3 hours in the fridge because you want the chia seeds to absorb the milk and thicken the pudding and will be easier to eat, frankly, because the seeds soften up the yumminess. But yeah, suppose that, and it tastes delicious, and believe it or not, it's really healthy for you. So that's chia seed pudding, and thank you again, Megan, for that recipe because it's fantastic. Thanks for watching Common Cooking.